Hey guys, don't miss an episode of the Tech Petition podcast. For more information, go to techpetition.com/subscribe. TechPedition.com.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Discussing Who. I am Kyle Jones, and on tonight's episode, we are going to be kind of shaking things up a bit, kind of doing something a little bit different. And what is that little bit different that we're doing? Well, for starters, as we're recording this, I am alone on this recording. It's just me. Clarence is not here. Lee is not here. So why is that? Well, if any of you have been listening, and I hope you have, but if you've been listening recently or over the last several months, for the most part, there's been a Discussing Who at least every 7 to 10 days. So we've not had as many episodes this month as I had originally planned, and partly because, as you will hear maybe comments about in our next episode, I've had some computer problems back and forth. I've had some literally spazzed out computers, and as part of that, that's kind of thrown me off the game as podcasting goes. As Clarence has said, computers break and computers need refiguring. So that's what I've been working on for the past probably 5 or 7 days. And what does that mean to Discussing Who? Well, last Tuesday, because this is Sunday, December the 17th, so last Tuesday, Lee, Clarence, and I recorded our review of the, not Two Doctors, but the Day of the Doctor, and not just the Day of the Doctor, the Night of the Doctor. So we did our review of that, and as we are doing that, I'm recording on one computer, and on the other computer, it is literally spazzing out. And that is the computer that I do 99.9% of editing. Well, after several initial mishaps, we're back in business. And as the story goes, just as it was with The Walking Dead, it is the same with the computers. I should have listened to Clarence all along, and that was restarting my computer from scratch and wiping everything, which I did. I've gotten the computer back together. Everything's working again, and we are ready to, get into Twice Upon a Time. And we also, me being the we, need to edit this last episode. So what are you listening to right now? This particular episode, and to answer that question, is thanks to Lee Shackleford and his audio recording of a conversation that Lee had with Alana Jordan. Unfortunately, I've never had a conversation with her, which we tried to schedule that something for her to come on and talk about Doctor Who, as well as to talk about Relativity, the Relativity podcast that she does with Lee. But we didn't get that. That was right around Thanksgiving. Couldn't get it scheduled. Well, Lee had a off-chance meeting in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago with Alana, and as podcasters do, inevitably the record button got pressed, and they recorded the conversation for which you are about to listen to. So in this conversation, Lee and Alana are actually talking about the upcoming Series 11 of Doctor Who with the new Doctor and all the things that surround that, from the Doctor's costume or outfit of the TARDIS and, all that stuff going on. Thanks to Lee, thanks to Alana for recording and for sending this to us, and also, of course, for you guys for listening. Why don't we get me to shut up for a moment and we'll just listen in to their conversation.
I wish, though, Doctor Who, there's a couple things that I wish that they would have done differently. I feel like Capaldi's whole character, this was a very, very missed opportunity. I feel like Clara should have died. I feel like she should have sacrificed herself, and when she became the 1,000 versions of herself, we as fans are okay with her dying because she still exists in all of these timelines. Yeah. But if she had died and it had been the Doctor's fault, it would make sense that he would then come back as this crotchety old man. And then his new path with his new companion would then alter him and then give him more insight, and then it would make sense that he would then become a woman.
So why weren't you the showrunner?
This is what I'm saying. I'm like, come on, this would have been so good.
I agree completely, and you're so right.
It would have fixed everything. And I feel like a lot of fans dropped off when Capaldi came in because they were like, this doesn't fit what is happening in the storyline. We don't know why Matt Smith would become this person. Mm-hmm. And it's not a casting issue, it's a story issue. Yeah. And if Clara had died and he had felt guilt for it, then that would have been incarnated. Yeah. And then having the new companion lead him and make him understand then it would be a whole cycle of death and birth. And then having it be a female who then feels like a creator of life. Yeah. To then remedy who felt like they were a taker of life, and having all of Capaldi's character be him coming to that realization and then be reincarnated as a woman. It would have made perfect sense, and it would have made the whole show so much better.
I'm creating a write-in campaign for you to be the showrunner from now on.
I'm just like,
you're right.
Yeah.
How are you not right? How are you not right?
It would have been the perfect way to make that work, because Clara shouldn't have been around anymore. And
that's such a noble climax of Clara's story, to become the person who has saved the Doctor again and again and again, so that he can go on to this next step.
Yeah. And sacrifices herself.
Yes.
But then we don't feel that there's a true loss, because she knows that all of these versions of her are out there living in all of these timelines, because death is relative on that show. Because
absolutely it is,
it's any timeline that you pop into, someone could be alive again. Right. Just go back to when they were alive.
We're not even sure if she's actually dead or not, which I just feel like is cheating.
It is, and I don't like it. And I feel like they shouldn't have even had her with Capaldi. I feel like they never should have had that dynamic. It should have been, and it shouldn't have been he's not the cute boy I had a crush on. Yeah. Like, that's not who the Doctor is. Go back and watch the original. Like, Zoe was never like, let me get with the Doctor. Yeah. Like, so I feel like if they had her die, it would have made all of it make more sense, and it would have come back to what the whole point of the show is adhering to, which is about love and sacrifice, and about giving all of yourself to help other people.
How are you not right? Yeah.
They should have done it, and it would have made way more sense, and I even would have forgiven the new hipster outfit that the new Doctor is wearing.
I got my first thought, just the instant visceral of that reveal was, oh no. Yeah. Then the more I look at it, the more I think, okay, I can sort of, I see it, maybe when I see it in action, I'm gonna,
I like the
I'm not the principal audience. I get that. Maybe it's I don't know.
I'm not into it. When you posted it, I remember you saying, what does everyone think? And I was like, flat out, she is one beanie and one pair of knitted gloves away from being in a way too long line to get her pumpkin spice latte. I don't see her saving the world. I see her saving the last pumpkin spice latte. Yeah. And I'm like, why is she wearing these little crop pants and booties? Like, what? In what scenario does she go back in time and her wearing that makes sense?
Well, that's the other thing. And many people have asked this question. Yeah. And you say, maybe this is sort of a return to the sensibility of classic Who, where the Doctor was always out of kilter, and you could easily find him in a crowd. But is that practical? Is that
and when this is your first female Doctor,
it has to be right.
Yeah, you don't need to be like, oh, I bet she bought that from Forever 21 and got that accessory from Claire's. It's like, no. That's not what you want. Also, I think I'm a little bitter because I wanted Hayley Atwell to be Doctor, but, because her interview, when they asked if she wanted to be a companion, and she said, I'll only do it if I get to be the Doctor. Yeah. And this was years ago, when they were like, there can be no female Doctor, and she's like, then I won't do it.
Yeah, forget it. I love that. I had forgotten about this. That I love that when Tom Baker left the role, that one of his exit interviews there for the BBC, he was saying, I just wish, good luck to the next actor playing the role, whoever he or she may be. And that was in 1980. Yeah. Yeah. He said, Tom, God bless you, man. Nobody was listening, of course, but yeah.
Of course not, but yeah. So I feel like this, hopefully, there is so much pressure to make sure that it's right, because if it's not good, then they'll all just go, see? Yep. A woman can't be Doctor, and it ruins it.
She's got to be aware. Yeah.
But I don't know. A lot of the sci-fi things, it's so much added pressure when they change it because they expect it to be wrong. Same thing with Wonder Woman. Like, why Wonder Woman had to be good was because nobody wanted it to be.
Well, I have to think that's why Warner Brothers have sat on it for 40 years, because they were scared of getting it wrong.
Well, you also think about all of the, when Star Wars came out and when Avengers came out, and Hasbro released all of the characters minus Black Widow and minus Rey.
Yep.
And you're like, why are all of the male characters and the only female character, that's already a problem, that it's the only female character, isn't even included?
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw those displays that didn't have Rey in it, I just... Yeah, I remember I was standing in the Target just going, what year is this?
Yeah.
How? Yeah.
One of my friends, I was really excited. She went to Target and actually got them to change our Burbank Target, changed the signage because they put boys section and it was all the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
And they put boys toys and it was like all the whatever, and it was just Star Wars. And she was like, "Can you just list this as Star Wars toys?"
Yeah.
Because I would also like to get this, but I feel like I can't because it's a boys toy.
Right.
And they took it down the sign.
Outstanding, yeah. Are you going to tase me if I step over here? Do I? Yeah.
So,
I had a very specific idea in my own mind about what the 13th Doctor's costume was going to look like. And so I know that I'm still weighing it against that. I'm still right, of course, and they're wrong, but I don't know. But see, I'm also, because it, of course, is being tried in the court of the internet, I'm seeing people on Facebook who are just in love with this costume and are already building it to wear to conventions and so on.
I like that it is one that allows itself to be cosplayed by a lot of people, and I think that is cool.
And people don't know what it is.
Yeah, but I also feel like you run into issues when you create a character costume that is to be cosplayed more so than to be worn by the character.
If that seems to have been the intent.
Yeah, it seems like that's almost a driving force, because I'm like, that seems to be a lot of the reason that they're giving to anybody can wear this costume, and it's like, but the Doctor wears it. Yeah. That's the point. Is the Doctor doesn't wear what anybody could wear.
It worries me because something that my podcasting friend Clara has pointed out just when we first got the reveal of Jodie Whittaker, that he was saying it's been interesting to watch stories where the Doctor has gone back into Earth's past with Martha and with Bill, and in both cases they've said, kind of pointed at their own faces and said, I can't go out there. Let me remind you what's going on in human history right now. And Clarence was saying, now we have this opportunity to tell those stories with this woman who's going to be out of place in various times in Earth's past. And I said, I just hope that I trust Chris Chibnall that those are the stories he's deliberately going to tell. But if she is a woman in, the 17th century or whatever, who is dressed like a clown, I don't know.
Then it makes sense that she would be ostracized, and they would be like, hey, you don't fit in here.
Yeah, because you don't fit anywhere else either.
Yeah, because what the hell are you wearing?
So does that mean that they've sacrificed the opportunity to tell those serious and important stories? But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
If they had set up to, I don't know. I feel like there were ways around it, but it all had to do with the setup with Capaldi, and they didn't take those opportunities. So, like if they even had him be like, "Hey, we'll dress for the eras that we go to. Here is all of our stuff," then it would make sense. Because now, if they do it now, they're like, "Oh, they have a woman, so of course she has a closet."
Yeah. Well, and we did see him.
A little bit, but not enough. Like, if they had been like, here's the TARDIS that has a never-ending set of clothes that we all can wear so we fit in every time period.
Right.
This is now established. Here's my man closet that has clothes that change as I change, as the TARDIS changes.
Right.
Then it would make sense that then she comes in and has different outfits for each thing, which also would have given the costumers a lot more opportunity. And would have also drawn back to where she could say a man could wear anything, but in different eras in time, I don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
And have that be a reminder that then is So you get the point driven, but then she's in clothes that make sense for that time period. So then her actions are what drive the Force, not just, look at me.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of that could have been set up just by having the one costume closet reveal with Capaldi. But now they can't do it with her because if it's a woman, then they're like, of course the new TARDIS has a big closet.
I hadn't thought about that.
Does she have a separate shoe closet? Does she have a makeup room?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, there's a salon, right? Who's doing her hair in there?
And they could have easily set all of that up. And
we saw the big closet in the first David Tennant for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a great effect, and I always loved that shot. But we don't even stay on it for very long, and I don't think anybody,
most people forgot.
Most people have forgotten about it.
And if they had,
and if we see it now, you're right. Yeah. Then it's going to be a joke.
Then it's going to be look. Of course, a woman has a big closet.
That was David Tennant's closet.
Yeah. And if they had set it up to, if Clara had died, Capaldi was sad, and the new companion how to bring him out of it with the help of all of his previous friends.
There you go.
That makes sense because Claire's sitting there talking to other people about him.
Right.
It's like who know him well, who are saying, he was never here to be your little boyfriend that you have a crush on. He has a job to do. Yeah. If it had been another companion who then falls into this spectrum and meets this broken man and then helps fix him, and part of fixing it is like, okay, well then let's go on an adventure where we play dress up and have fun. Let's go to your big dress up closet. We're going to have fun today.
Right.
Let's go. Ooh. That would be an easy way to set it up. It would be a whole episode about them just trying to have fun and about why inevitably it would go wrong and they would have to save people.
Can we go back in time and do this your way? Because
I'm telling you, if they had let me write this last season, it would have been perfect.
Well, you're backing up far enough that
Says me.
We would have had 3 years of Bill that way, too. And I would have been all about that. Because she's not going to be interested in him as her boyfriend. And it was time.
Yeah. And that it would have been perfect. And it would have helped the companion grow because the companion helps the Doctor grow. And then it makes sense that then the reincarnation would be someone that she feels more connected to because this woman is the one who just saved her. So since this woman is the one who saved her mentality, it makes sense that then the female aspect of it is emblazoned on her mentality, and then that reflects her physicality when she is reborn. And it would have all made sense, and it wouldn't have been like a closety joke thing, like, oh, look at the big closet, look at the shoes, look at the whatever. It would have been this is a perfect way to establish that now this new character took from that other companion the importance of dressing for the era and fitting in, and that it can be just as much fun.
Yeah.
And then all of that is done. And then the one line remembrance, it's different for women. So that's driven home without being preachy. And that would have been an easy way to fix it for the entire next season.
It's all clear in retrospect. Yeah. We do have the advantage of hindsight.
That's true.
But
even as soon as the first episode, when Capaldi was introduced, I was like, I could have written them. Oh, the ring is totally different.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It's just...
I was like, I would have kept the giant monsters. They would stay in, but it would have been different.
Yeah.
Like, we'll keep the dinosaurs. Claire's gone. Claire's extinct.
Yeah. I know it's always easy to be the, what do you call it, armchair quarterback.
Yeah.
But... you're right. You're just right.
It's just such an easy way to set it up. It would have been, and it would have, if they had thought about that, the longevity of it, it would have perfectly developed that character, and it would make sense that all of his incarnations would reflect his mental state. When he feels like he is the person who just killed this young girl, he would come back as a crotchety old man.
Yeah.
When he then feels angry and bitter. Yeah. And then when he has been shown that other people can negate those emotions and bring him into a happy state, and there are fun dress-up times, then that sets it without it being campy and without it undercutting the female Doctor.
Right, yeah. Or condescending or whatever, Stereotypical, playing into a stereotype. Well,
Because then it would have been the Doctor's closet instead of her closet.
Exactly. It would have been their closet. Well,
and then even references later when she goes in have the long scarf. You just pass by it. Fans would lose their shit.
Yeah.
One bow tie is hanging on one individual hanger.
Right. It's
and that's all you need. It's an entire section with one bow tie right there. That joke, visual, instantly people get it and start laughing.
Sure.
Just labeled cool. the cool section, and it's just one bow tie.
Framed on the wall.
And then just like a scoff and keep walking. Because it would have been her laughing at different versions of herself and not any sort of condescension.
As the way we look back at ourselves when we were teenagers, or
almost where you're like, look at my super cool MySpace picture. Like the same kind of look you would give to that, where you're like, oh my god, look at my Hot Topic outfits.
Yes.
Then just keep walking, still labeled cool. You know? So it's like, it just would have given them so many opportunities and so many sight gags and so many subtle things that would have been great fan fodder. You know, even like different companion suits have a silver jumpsuit in there that you just pass by and you're like, Zoe! Yeah. So diehard fans, you know, it doesn't affect the plot at all, but we get that woohoo moment.
I always love stuff like that.
And it would have been so easy to do. And just bringing it, and they could have gone to that closet repeatedly. They could have had, you know, the standard outfit, but certain missions require her change.
So how do people get in touch with you?
Oh, yeah. Everybody can tweet at me at Alana Jordan, ALANAJORDAN. I always have to spell it because it's spelled like Alana.
Yes.
So I've had multiple people be like, I looked for you and I couldn't find you, and then I found this name. I was like, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can find me on Instagram at that Alana Jordan girl, too, because there was already an Alana Jordan.
I never look at that.
There's not much on it. It's just a lot of goofing around Los Angeles.
Well, there you go. Yeah. With your mouth open, right?
With my mouth open, smiling like about to eat a cheeseburger. You know, the cheeseburgers in L.A. Just out of frame.
All right, welcome back. And again, thank you to Lee. Thank you to Alana. You know, I can't say thank you enough again for sending that to me and for having this as an episode. So here we are. We are a week away from Christmas. We have literally on my end when I'm recording this, we are less than, like I said, a week from being able to actually see the new Doctor. This is a short episode. I understand that. I appreciate your time. We have some great things coming in 2018 for Discussing Who. I don't want to really talk about it now because I don't have Clarence here, I don't have Lee here, but we definitely have some fun things that we're equally excited about as kind of scary, to be brutally honest with you. But we're going to be doing some new things, some different things with this show coming in 2018. We hope that anybody that's listening is going to enjoy it even better. We're excited about it, like I said. Can't wait to talk about it a little bit more. And, you know, I almost spilled the beans. So I'm going to just literally, again, tell myself to shut up because I don't want to spill the beans without the other guys here. And the only other thing that I could say is, as of this recording, this will probably be the last recording that we will do for Discussing Who before Christmas. So however you celebrate Christmas, or if you don't celebrate that holiday, you know, we wish you well on that day. If you do celebrate Christmas, however you celebrate it, we wish you the best. You know, that's coming from myself, from Lee, from Clarence, you know, and from all of us here at Discussing Who. We wish you the best for your holiday season and for Twice Upon a Time. We can't wait, and we can't wait to talk about it. So tell us what you think about this episode. You know, make sure you subscribe. Also, check out our YouTube channel. You can find it at youtube.discussingwho.com, and also subscribe to the show. You can subscribe on Stitcher. You can subscribe on Player FM. You can, you know, of course, use Apple Podcast, Google Play, Podbean, all of those. And, you know, like us on Facebook, give us some feedback. We want to hear from you. We'll play the feedback on the show. And before I go, I also want to give a big shout out to someone who was a longtime Podshock listener, but who has also been sending us written feedback on our Facebook page. That is the gentleman who went by the name, or goes by the name, Blue Box Bill. So thank you for making this a great Christmas for us, Blue Box Bill. We hope that you remain entertained by us, and we can't wait for what's coming in 2018. So, again, thank you all for joining me. Thanks for listening, and we will be back next time.
Discussing Who is brought to you by Audible. You've probably heard of Audible, but just in case, they are the world's leading provider of audiobooks. They have more than 180,000 titles. Let me say that again. 180,000 titles to choose from. Imagine a genre, they've got an audiobook. And these files play on smartphones, Kindles, tablets, in fact, over 500 different devices. Now, for fans of Discussing Who, Audible is offering a free download when you start a new Audible subscription. And you can choose anything at all from that vast library. But we know you want to get one of their absolutely fantastic Doctor Who titles, which include New Adventures of the Doctor, but also Torchwood and River Song. And they're performed for you by actors you know and love. Wonderful voices: Tom Baker, Alex Kingston, David Tennant. The list goes on and on. So try it out for 30 days. And if at the end of the month you decide Audible is not for you, you still get to keep that Doctor Who book you downloaded. So look at it this way. Free Doctor Who book. So here's how you get started. Point your favorite web browser to audibletrial.com/discussingwho. That's audibletrial, all one word, audibletrial.com/discussingwho, also one word. And that's how you get your free book. What could be better than that? You've been listening to the Discussing Who podcast. Discussing Who is made by fans for fans. No copyright infringement is intended. Show us you're fans of the show by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter. You can find us on the web at www.discussingwho.com. Want more Discussing Who? Find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Player FM, the Doctor Who Podshock Alliance, and more. Send us your feedback to discussingwho@gmail.com, or if you'd like, simply record a voice message and send that to us via your smartphone, tablet, or computer. We want to hear from you.